In this video, I'm gonna unbox this TC Electronics Combo Deluxe 65 amp in a box style pedal. And then I'm gonna do a couple obvious things. First of all, I'm gonna find out if it drips or not. That is my chief concern. That is the main thing that has me curious about this pedal because, I mean, very clearly and obviously, this thing is meant to compete in the market against this pedal right here, the UA Dream 65. They do functionally the same thing as advertised anyways. They're both trying to be a Fender Deluxe Reverb in a box. This one, the UA, in my opinion, this thing is well proven. It's not cheap. They're like 350 bucks or something like that, but the reverb in this, chef's kiss, it drips so nice. And the amp side of it sounds pretty great too. I mean, there's one reverb knob and then the rest of it is all amp and it sounds great. Great pedal platform. I've been using it direct to front of house when I play at church and things like that. So I'm very curious to find out how this stacks up. But before I crack this open and I explore it and then start comparing it to the UA, we have some people to thank. And by people, I mean some people that are very important here to this channel. I'm talking about the Patreons, people who send money to make all this nonsense possible for some reason. This is a completely Patreon funded video. This was not sent to me by TC Electronic. It wasn't even provided by a retailer like Sweetwater. I bought it from Sweetwater because I like shopping at Sweetwater, but it wasn't provided by them. I used Patreon funds to purchase this. So this is a fully independent video made possible by the Patreons whose names have been scrolling this entire time. Please pick a name out of the scroll and thank them personally down in the comment section. All right, let's get into it. I've had this thing on a shelf for like a week and a half. I think it showed up before I even went to Sweetwater recently. I could have picked it up in person. I've been waiting, just salivating, wanting to try it, watching other people launch their videos and not watching their videos. Henning put out like 3 videos on these things. And I haven't watched a single one because I didn't want to spoil it. No spoilers, guys. Also, it freaks me out watching my fellow guitar YouTubers play in their videos. It flares up my my imposter syndrome pretty bad. We'll have the manual out just in case. I'm sure I will need it. Let's see what we got here. We've got a reverb switch, a channel switch. Are there channels on a deluxe reverb? There's different places you can plug in. There's like a vibrato channel. So is there going to be vibrato? There is a reverb knob, of course, gain, level, bass, middle, and treble. Deluxe reverbs don't have a middle control. They're kind of like Princeton's. And the Dream 65 doesn't have a middle. That's an interesting thing to include. What do we have on the back panel here? We've got an input, an output, a DI output with a cab sim on it. I don't know if you can change the cab sims or if it's just one cab sim. A reverb tone control and a bright switch. We get a bright switch? That's amazing. There's no bright switch on the Dream. Oh, I'm excited. All right, it takes 9 volt, 300 milliamps, and it has a USB, I'm assuming for updates or swapping out cab sims, maybe? Can you swap cab sims on this, TC? I'll have to do some reading. Oh, ooh. Oh, it's got a dedicated headphone jack. Oh, that's smart. It's not that it's smart, it's that it's not smart that the UA does not have a headphone jack, because the other competitors in this space, the Strymon Iridium and the Walrus ACS1, both have headphone jacks. And I use them. When I use those products, I use the headphone jacks. So it was pretty silly that this doesn't have a headphone jack and pretty smart that this does. All right, I'm gonna run direct. So sorry, no 2 Princetons in this video. I'm gonna run direct so we hear what this thing sounds like running direct into front of house. I wonder if the bright switch is in the on position or the off position. I'm gonna use my Fender Player Plus Strat because it is the best option for this sort of thing. Give everyone some very standard and boring and expected humbucker and single coil tones. No big surprises with weird pickups or anything like that. Everything is turned down to 1. There we go. All right, let's see what we got here. There we go. Let's leave it clean, but a little saturated. Off to a good start. Maybe that's still a little bit too dirty. Let's try it on the neck pickup. Sounds good right off the bat. Yeah, no notes so far. Good first impression in the first couple strums here. I'm hearing a little bit of like an edge of a breakup and a little bit of like a tube compression sort of sound. With everything flat, it kind of reminds me of the Princetons right now. All right. Should I jump right into the reverb? Should we find out right now if it drips? Or should I save that for the very end? No, I'm gonna do it right now. Oh, it's dripping. Oh, it's really dripping. Oh, that is a surprise. Try it on the bridge pickup. It's doing it! Oh, that sounds great. The reason why I'm so surprised is that in the past, in the early days of this channel, I covered a lot of TC Electronic products. I covered my fair share of TC Electronic reverbs, the Hall of Fame pedals included, and none of them had a drippy spring reverb setting. They had like an in-amp style, like a softer sort of spring reverb setting, but never a bright, juicy little drip like that. I didn't know they had it in them. I had my doubts when I saw these launched. I was like, okay, yeah, it'll probably sound like an amp just fine, but the reverb, yeah, it's not gonna be like this. Now I'm excited to do a side-by-side because that honestly sounds great. Wow, I'm excited. I was bracing myself for this to be a bummer of a video. Way to go. You did it, TC Electronic. I'm impressed. All right, let's check out the rest of this thing. So reverb switch. Does it do anything? Can you hold it or anything like that? No, nothing like that. Channel. Got a green channel. It's quieter. This must be like a clean channel or something. It must have saved the settings I had on this channel before I pressed that, because this should be distorting now. Yeah. We got EQ. Middle control. So you can scoop the mids if you want. Treble. It's plenty bright. Let's try that bright switch. It's been in the up position. Oh, so the bright has been on. Bright and glassy and ice picky. I'll turn it off for the time being. All right, let's explore the range of the gain control. Back to the humbucker. You know what? We'll kill the reverb for this section. I don't think there's a way to change the cab sim. I'll have to crack into the manual here to figure that out. I'm not seeing any obvious way to do it anyway, so I'm assuming that there's only one cab sim, and it sounds great so far. Neck pickup now. Now when I use amp style pedals for running direct to front of house, I don't usually use a lot of gain on them. I rely on my overdrive pedals and fuzz pedals and things like that. So I'm not likely to use a lot of this gain. Maybe I'll ride like edge of breakup. You can see right now, I'm definitely going to try this thing in a live scenario. Next time I play at church, this thing is making it on the board. It sounds good to me. The dirt sounds good. I'm curious to hear how it compares to the Dream though, because I remember being really impressed with the drive sounds of the Dream. Sounds a little bit brittle to my ear right now. Let's go lighter. Lighter. It sounds like a Fender style amp. right, okay. Oh, I'm very excited about that reverb. Maybe a little bit too much dirt. Right there. 3.5 on the gain dial. That's pretty crispy. Pull it back down to 3 again. The volume back. The gain really affects your output volume. So if you're going for a clean sound, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of volume in the headphones right now. Which is kind of reflective of how, you know, an actual tube amp works. So I can't be mad about that, I guess. Kind of wish there was a little extra knob over here, one of those tiny knobs for a headphone level. That would be nice. But for $160 out the door with this thing, there's really not a lot to complain about so far. Let's crack the manual and see if I can figure out, you know, if there's any details here that I'm missing. I'm sure I'm missing some important stuff. Included in this pedal is a 4-second convolution reverb created using an IR, impulse response, in parentheses, taken directly from the original Gibbs reverberation unit found in the Reverb Deluxe, consisting of a long dual spring reverb tank. They used a Gibbs unit. Good for them. Celestion cab sim. To provide you with a DI-ready pedal board setup solution for connection to PA systems, recording interfaces, and headphones, we've partnered up with the best in the business and supplied you with an official Celestion digital impulse response 12-inch G12M creamback, so it's ready to roll right out of the box via dedicated DI and headphone outputs. Doesn't mention if you can change the impulse response, the cab sim. It has that USB, which makes me think maybe. Probably. I mean, it sounds great as it is, but having options is always great too, right? Reverb tone. The reverb on this amp is fantastic, but everyone likes the reverb slightly different, so we added a tone control to the reverb, allowing you to dial it in to be darker or as bright as you like. Set this global control in its neutral 12 o'clock position, and you'll instantly have the infamous classic spring sound of the Reverb Deluxe. Bright switch. If you really want to cut heads out there, then activate the bright switch to add a splattering of extra sparkle and bite to your top end. Middle control. Here we go. You would be right in thinking that the Reverb Deluxe never had a middle control in the tone stack. I am right in thinking that. After a huge influx of requests from customers, Fender added a middle knob to the Blackface Twin reverb amplifier. So we've added that same control to the Combo Deluxe 65. I mean, it's a smart, modern option to have. It doesn't have to be a full recreation of the real thing. Like a mid knob is a great thing to have. So I do appreciate this. However, setting this control at its neutral 12 o'clock position will get you straight back to the stock Reverb Deluxe. Anything else? I want to know what the channels are. The green channel is based on the normal channel of the Fender Reverb Deluxe, and the red channel is based on the vibrato channel of the Fender Reverb Deluxe. Didn't I say that? Which has more gain and a slightly different voicing. But I'm not seeing anything about there being a vibrato included. And then the rest of the manual is other languages. And I don't know how to read those languages, so I'm not even gonna try. Bypass mode. Oh, good. I can turn off the whole pedal by going into a different bypass mode. So that means I can put this right next to it and do a quick and easy comparison. That is good to know. Let's check out the reverb tone really quick, and then we'll start doing that shootout. There's that clean channel. Is the bright on? To me, that vibrato channel sounds the best, but the clean channel might be better as a pedal platform. I'll have to explore that. You know what? I'll hit both these pedals with a nasty fuzz or something like that to see how they handle fuzz, because that's a very important question to answer. All right, that tone control now. Can I find it without looking? It's a little tiny knob. All right, we'll pull it off. Hold up your brother over here, UA. Teamwork makes the dream work? So let's really crank that reverb. Looks like I need a screwdriver. I can't get my big fingers on that little knob. Oh, that's bright. I'm pretty impressed that it's giving me that splash with my picking dynamics on that little Dick Dale part there. Let's try like halfway up from bright. You hear that? I can control how that comes in just with my picking dynamics. Again, good job, TC. Let's go all the way dark now. They need to make a standalone reverb unit pedal now. Now that I know you can do it, TC, stop holding out on us. Give us a drippy spring reverb standalone pedal. Make it 3 knobs, just like a Fender reverb unit. Or give us an extra knob if you want. Give us extra settings if you want, but explore this code in another product, please. Now, it's very useful if you want a more like dark, smoky sort of reverb sound. Let's turn that down just a little bit. Let's try it on that vibrato channel. Get some dirt going on here. There we go, that's more like it. Go all the way dark again. I have a feeling all of you out there that aren't surfy boys like me, or surfy girls, will really appreciate being able to turn down that tone control. Let's put it back a little bit brighter than stock. I'm going to roll it to like 1 o'clock. Take off the bright. Roll back to about 4. I was wrong. Put it back on 5. All right, time to do a shootout. That's what you all came here for, right? I know Henning already did it, but did Henning drip? Like I said earlier, I think I said I didn't watch his videos. I didn't watch anyone else's videos because it freaks me out. Imposter syndrome is real. So this takes a lot of power. The UA stuff tends to be really picky with power supplies. You got to power it just right, or things can go haywire a little bit. Let's see if it'll accept my budget import power supply here. And I'm going to put this into off mode. There we go. Yeah, I'm getting this like high-pitched digital whine right now. You hear that? It's not a lot, but it's there. Let me see if I can run it off its own power supply. Yeah, that fixed it. I'm running it off its own one spot now. There's the one spot right there. The UA pedals. They are power-hungry little guys, and they get hot, too. They are using all that power, all that fancy computing they're doing. Right off the bat, that sounds really warm. So obviously you have a few extra things on the face of the Dream Reverb. You have a boost knob here. You have a selection of 6 different cabs. Only one cab loaded on this guy, but 6 different cabs here. Preset, that's nice to have, although this technically has a preset just going in between channels, if you consider that a preset. And then there is, what else? I think that about covers it. I think there was a way to dial in a tremolo on here too. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I'm thinking about their other pedal, the Golden. That is just a dedicated reverb. Which cab should I use? Sounds pretty decent. Let's bring up that reverb, since that's so important to me. I can definitely say, after playing with this thing for the last half an hour, this sounds a lot warmer. And actually the reverb so far doesn't sound as intense. It has a nice drip to it. But it is not as abrasive as this one. Bit more soulful, isn't it? All right, let's start doing a shootout now that I feel that's dialed in pretty good. There's a dry signal. Let's see if I can match it. Pull out that bright switch. Oh, it's already off. Pull back the treble. Then back. Oops. Let's bring that bright switch back in. They sound different. They sound like different products, trying to sound like the same amplifier, which is exactly what's going on here. I'm getting more brightness and clarity from the TC Electronic. More separation of the reverb from the amp signal. I'm really hearing that bounce. I'm hearing this bright tic-tac kind of drip. It doesn't have the warmth overall that the Dream has. That's a good thing or a bad thing, depending on your personal preferences. Let's try bringing up the treble a little bit and bringing the bass down. Oh, that got crispy. Put more gain into this. This just sounds a bit warmer and sweeter in this kind of like studio recording sort of way, where this sounds more like an amp on a stage or in your room sort of thing, in your practice space. This sounds very like manicured. I mean, they both sound great. Just different, you know? Try it without the reverb. We'll just explore the gain a little bit on 5. This is going to come down to fine adjustments too. I might not have the EQ set up just right for them to sound similar enough. Well, let's just listen to the gain character and not get too wrapped up in those sorts of details. Try it on the bridge pickup. try this with some different cabs. If you're waiting for me to say that one is better than the other, I'm not sure I can do that sound-wise. They sound different to me. The Dream sounds fuller. It has more options as far as cab sims go, which is important. That is an important option for something like this. It would have been neat to have even a little switch right here to give us like 3 different options. That would have been nice. Or like 3 little lights and a little push button here, and you can scroll through some different cabs. It would have been a nice addition to this. But, I mean, you have to recognize this is half the price. Half the price. The reverb sounds fantastic on both of them. The gain, I think, sounds better. I think I like the amp style gain better on the Dream. It's a little bit more abrasive than I'd like. It doesn't saturate as smooth as I would like, but it still sounds good to me. If I didn't know about this, if this didn't exist, I would be over the moon about this. I'm still over the moon about it. I think it sounds fantastic. But yeah, both of them have things that could be better. The UA could have a headphone output. It would be great if it was a little bit less picky about power. The UA pedals are very, very picky about power. I honestly think that's the biggest negative about their line is just they're very particular pedals. This one, I have a feeling since it's TC, it's taking 300 milliamps, 9 volt just fine. It's probably going to be easy to drop onto any pedal board where I kind of have to think about my power supply when I drop this onto a pedal board. I mean, half the price. It's half the price, guys. And it has a drippy reverb. So what else do you want me to say? This has stereo, though. If you run a stereo rig, that's a must. If you don't run a stereo rig, you probably don't care. It probably doesn't matter to you. Let's try hitting them with fuzz. That might be the ultimate decider here. I really like using fuzz to test amp and cab sim style products, whether it's a pedal or a multi-effect or like a computer simulation or something like that, because a fuzz gives you just this full blast, full EQ range, just wall of static. And it really shows you, it really reveals what is being filtered by the product that you're using. All right, where's my signal? All right, we've got the Earthquaker devices, his Humitas, I never know how to pronounce it. Let's dial in a clean tone. Try to make them comparable. Here we go, it's fuzz time. Should I baritone it after this? I think I should baritone it. Here it is without any filtering. That's just your straight fuzz. I think the Dream wins that one. It's got this softer, warmer, more natural feel with the fuzz hitting it. But results might vary in a mix and depending on what you're going for. But to my ear right now, I preferred hearing the fuzz go through the Dream. In a live mix, my opinion might change. It's just a little bit more brittle. And honestly, it might be just a difference in cab sims making that big difference. Swapping cab sims on this, I didn't see anything about being able to change cab sims in the manual. So read up, let me know in the comment section. I'm going to grab the baritone. I just had a thought. The most important thought that someone could have. Por qué no los dos? I should try running them in stereo. I'll do that after testing the baritone. I'm not going to share an opinion on that. I want you guys to tell me what you think down in the comments. Which did you prefer for baritone fuzz? It's starting to get that time of year where it get hot and sweaty while making videos. The garage is getting warm. All right, let's split this into a stereo signal out of that fuzz. So both amps can run at the same time. Are they amps? Or are they amps and pedals? with a different fuzz. I just did the pep rally demo the other day for summer school electronics. I want to hear that fuzz with the baritone through this rig. Like Muffy style fuzzes. Yeah, they're heavy and they're fun. I want to hear that Velcro rip. Oh, there's some digital noise going on there. All right, I'm going to switch back to the regular guitar. Ah, I'm on a short leash. And I'm going to do stereo 2 amp overdrive now. And that'll be the final test. Different cab. It sounds really like nasal and out of phase in my headphones. I don't know about that. We'll have to listen in post to see how that turned out. Yeah, let's do a wet dry really quick. Reverb on one side, dry on the other. So what do you guys think? Which one would you choose? The $350 loaded with all sorts of other cabs and stereo situation with the UA that is very particular about power and does not have a headphone jack, or the half the price, $160 is what I paid after taxes and fees and whatnot, the half the price TC Electronic that is not stereo, doesn't have a bunch of extra cabs, it just has one cab sim setting, but it has a middle control, it has a bright, it has a headphone jack, and it has a tone control for the reverb. They have compelling features. They have compelling sounds. I'm very, very happy to find a drippy reverb in a TC Electronic product. Like, I'll use this just for the reverb. I mean, I can run out of the direct out that doesn't have the cab sim and use this as a dirt box and a reverb if I'm running into an amp. I might have to explore that. I might have to experiment with that on my own time to see if I like that sort of sound. For 160 bucks to get that drippy reverb, I think that's well worth it. That's another thing on my list of drippy, surfy spring reverbs that I can recommend, which isn't a long list, especially for digital stuff. I mean, I've got the Surfy Bear, which is the real thing. It's a spring reverb unit. But digital stuff, the Source Audio True Spring, I highly recommend. The U8 Golden, I highly recommend. It's different. You can't use this as a standalone reverb. It always wants to be an amp. You could turn off the cab sim and use it similar to this with the cab off. But this is a lot of pedal to buy just for the single reverb knob. And now this. So yeah, that's an impressive feat. That's an impressive thing. So what do you guys think? Huge thanks again to the Patreons for making this video possible. Usually a brand sends me their product and I collect a demo fee. In this case, I just used Patreon money to buy the product. I'm crossing my fingers that the view count and the ad revenue from YouTube will make it worth my while to do a day and a half of work shooting and editing all this. It probably won't, but you know what? It's worth it. It is worth it to give back to the Patreons and to acknowledge them, to acknowledge that they have been helping this channel in so many ways, financial ways, over the years. That we use that money to fund the production of this channel, whether it be buying cameras or paying for travel or paying for shipping and things like that. There's all sorts of services that we pay for behind the scenes stuff, for like hosting files and podcasts and things like that and other services and whatnot. So the Patreons are really unsung heroes of this channel. And you know what? If I lose time and money on this, it's worth it. It's worth it to say thank you to the Patreons. I shouldn't have even brought it up. Now I feel embarrassed. So thank a Patreon down in the comment section. And you know what? Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, dislike, leave me a rude and nasty comment. Support us on Patreon. Buy a shirt if you are naked. I'm wearing a shirt you could buy right now. Das Viggo Sticken. And you know what? Stay grounded. Bye, everybody.